Okay, so welcome back to my channel. I am Sinn, J apostrophe Sinn, and this is from Sinn's perspective. So I just watched the first episode of Wu Assassin, and I must say I love me a good fight scene, and so that's basically how the show opens up. This guy who's like kicking ass in this apartment hallway, and there he eventually makes it to this old guy, and the old guy's like, well, who are you? And he was like, I'm just a chef. And so then it backtracks, so it goes back, I don't know, it doesn't give you like a time frame, so I don't know, a week or two maybe, I don't know. And this guy is in a restaurant, so he is in fact a chef. He works in a restaurant, and I don't know the guy's name who was talking to him, but he was talking to him about the guy, his name is Kai, the chef. And so he's talking to him about his dream. So he's well aware that Kai wants to eventually have his own food truck and travel, and basically have his own business. And so he was encouraging him to do that. He was willing to loan him the money to do that. And Kai was basically like, no, no, that's okay. He wants to do it, but he's gonna do it on his own in his own time. And so they made a point to focus on this dish. He put some peanuts on this dish. And so the guy was still talking to him, so he couldn't actually take the dish out. So it was an older guy who worked there who took the dish out. So the next thing you know, this guy comes back into the kitchen. He's like, I told you not to put peanuts on this. And Kai was like, no, you didn't. And so he looks at the older guy who actually took the bowl out, and everybody's confused, like, no, you never said any peanuts. So he ends up throwing the bowl into the wall, and whatever that dish was, it was just all over the place. And so the guy actually drags the older guy back out there, I guess, to explain what happened. So this older guy, he drops his knees and he's very apologetic, like, I didn't know, the whole thing. And then this guy starts punching him. So Kai comes out and he intervenes, basically. And Tommy, who is the guy who got upset over the dish in the kitchen, the guy was about to shoot Kai, and so he intervened and basically pulled him apart. And he was like, "Oh, he's fine. He's it's not a big deal. Everybody, things just got a little out of hand. It's all good." So he kind of shows Kai out and basically like, just go home. I'll fix this. Okay, so Kai gets home, and his neighbor, Mr. What is his name? I can't remember off the top of my Mr. Young. Okay, so Mr. Young is the older guy that we saw, who he protected. He was saving in the beginning. Who said, "Who are you?" So when we see Mr. Young, and Mr. Young also knows about Kai's dream about him wanting to do the food truck. And he said Kai gave him dinner, and Mr. Young gave him this powder or this tea. I'm not sure what it was. And he was like, "What is this for?" For stagnation. He's like, "What does that mean?" And he basically said, "Your dream was to own your food truck and travel, but you're still here." So obviously a number of people know about this dream that Kai has, and for whatever reason, I mean, it's not saying how long he's had this dream, but people are kind of encouraging him to follow that. So the next thing we see is Jenny. So Jenny's just going, it's the morning time. Jenny's going about her day. She's actually headed to the restaurant. And so we find out that Jenny is Tommy's sister. Tommy, who also who intervened in the fight in the restaurant. So she gets to the restaurant and she sees that things are out of order. And Tommy is on the floor. He's all beat the hell up. He got his ass whooped. And she obviously gets upset because of his association with the triad. So the guys who he got into the altercation with the night before, they're part of the triad. And so as far as Tommy's concerned, those are his friends, those are his family. And he wants to maintain a good relationship with them. So that's one of the reasons why he intervened. And he also intervened. It seems like when he said that Kai was here, and then and she was like, Kai was here, and you kind of see there's a history there between Jenny and Kai. And she's like, oh, he's fine, and he can take. Tommy was basically like, he's fine. He can take care of himself. Like I got him out of here. He's fine. Da, da, da. And so of course she got upset because she was, that she's dissociating with the triad, and she it seems like she's the oldest, I'm assuming, and she basically wants him to get her brother to get his life together. Okay, so then we see Uncle Six. Uncle Six, he actually his henchman, I guess, kidnapped uh, two guys from another crew. This guy McLaughlin, I can't remember the man's name. So Uncle Six is the head of the triad, and so you have this other crew, this other guy with his crew trying to kind of infringe on their territory and kind of push them out. And so Uncle Six has now kidnapped two of the guys on his team and basically executed them. I mean, that was basically the gist of that whole scene. Okay, so let you know, you see Kai. Kai is helping out on a food. He's actually on a food truck, but it's owned by somebody else. He's helping out, and once again, the guy he was talking to before, I can't remember his name, in the restaurant was basically like, okay, I heard about what happened before. I heard about what happened with Tommy. And he's basically giving him a heads up, like, they're not going to let that go. And he actually tried to give him a gun, like, you're going to need to protect yourself. And Kai's like, why do I need that? Who am I going to shoot? And the guy was like, it's more important to focus on not getting shot. That's what I want you to focus on. But he didn't take the gun, and the guy went on about his business. So Kai is closing up the truck, and that's the first time he got attacked. So these two guys attack him. Of course, he kicked their ass. So he already has fighting ability. So it's not like a situation where he has to he's the chosen one, but he has to like start from scratch, where they have to teach him how to fight and how to do, like from the beginning. You see that he already has some fighting ability. So he quickly takes care of them and throws them off the truck, and he pulls off. So he's speeding down this alley. All of a sudden, he hits something. Okay, he stopped. He gets out the truck. It's this woman. Her name is, I believe, Ying Ying. So she gets up. She got up, and that's when she handed him the talisman. And basically, like, you're the Wu assassin, and this talisman, I guess, it holds the powers of 1,000 Wu assassins before you, and basically it kind of dissolved. He absorbed it, and all of their powers and their abilities. It's almost similar to, if you've ever seen an episode of The Protector, where he got this shirt. His thing was actually a shirt, which when he put it on, it actually basically made him invincible. So she made the comment, their faces will protect you. And so he was still in the alley, but like he was in an alternate universe. And so the next thing you see is him being rolled through. He's in the emergency room being rolled through. There's like, they found you. You were in the alley. You were unconscious. And so now he's trying to kind of get his bearings to find out what happened. So Jenny shows up, and she shows up to pick him up from the hospital. And he was like, what are you doing here? And she was like, well, you have me in your phone as an emergency contact. And so he was like, oh, I'm sorry. So she takes him home, and she basically was talking to him about the situation with the triad, and told him like he was stupid for getting involved, he shouldn't have done that, da. And she asked him if he would help her out, work in the kitchen that night. He basically was like, no, I got something else that I need to do. So then we see the police station, where they're well aware, obviously, of the triad, and they're well aware of this other gang that's kind of moving in to that territory, and they know it's only a matter of time before there's going to be this huge gang war, and obviously there are going to be a lot of people, innocent people, caught up in it. So they're trying to do what they can to intervene, obviously ahead of time, and take as many people down as they can. And so in comes Christine, who she comes from a different precinct where she worked in Vice, and now they want her to go undercover, kind of infiltrate the triad, and that's basically her goal, to get on the inside. So she ends up following this guy. I still don't know this man's name. He's just at a diner eating breakfast, and she shows up and basically, what she said to him, I heard that you were looking for some people, or looking for for people for jobs or something like that. And he was obviously like looking at her like, bitch. He didn't say anything. He was just looking at her. He's like, and I also heard that you don't like women very much. And so he yelled out for the server, and she knew her by name, so obviously he eats there a lot, and said, do I have an issue with women? She was like, no. He's like, so So they basically kind of traded a few words, and then she got up and she basically stole his car. So she stole his car. So he turned around. He heard the alarm go off. He kind of sat there like, "What is that?" And then he heard the engine rev. And that's when he turned and she had spit off in his shit. And so now he's like, "Oh, hey, okay, okay." So, I'm trying to think what after that, um, who this is why you like this is why you should take notes when you do reviews. Okay, so after that, uh, you saw Kai went to I can't even say what it was. Where did he go? And he kind of lit a candle or incense or something, and he's kind of praying or whatever he's doing. And that's when you see Uncle Six. He kneels down beside him. So you know. So now you realize, okay, so they actually know each other. So up until this point, they were saying, well, he, was trying to figure out why people were so like typically they're very protective of him, and that's because he has a connection to Uncle Six, who is the leader of the triad. And so he was talking to, so he kneeled down next to him and was like, your mom was half, what should say, half Muslim and half something. I forget what he said. And Kai was like, I remember I used to come here with you or something, he said. So they clearly have a relationship. And so they end up leaving, and Uncle Six takes him to this like empty warehouse. I don't know. Took him to some floor in this building, and basically saying that you could turn it into whatever you want. You can turn it into a bar, restaurant, whatever you want. So of course Kai, he doesn't want to take any money from them because he doesn't want to have to. I guess his thing is he doesn't have to owe anybody anything, especially the triad. So he just wasn't for it. And so we're leading up now to the fight. So that night you saw Jenny and Tommy. They were in her office, and he's asking her for money. So it makes you want to think like this is a very successful business. Why does he not have any goddamn money? Okay, so he said he's behind on his rent. He has to pay his rent. He says he's asking her for money for $1,200. She doesn't really want to give him the money, but he was like, I just need $1,200 for 2 days. I'll get it back to you. Da, 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 da. And she reluctantly gives him the money. And this is after he told her, like, I wonder how mom and dad would feel if they find out their golden child took money from the triad. So apparently she had taken money from the triad to renovate the restaurant, and he kind of like threw that in her face. And she basically, like she said, reluctantly gave him the money, and then she just asked him if he could help out for that night. And so we find out that. So he heads home. Let me go back. He heads home, and that's when that whole fight in the beginning ensues, where he's beating the shit out of everybody. And what she meant, then what the lady meant, Ying meant by their faces will protect you, is that I'm assuming that when he actually takes on the appearance of, I guess, whichever warrior that I guess he needs at the time, and based on whatever abilities that he needs at the time. So he actually looks like, that's what she meant, like their faces will protect you, because when he's in that mode, he doesn't look, he looks like whoever the warrior is that he's taking on, that spirit or whatever, that ability. So that's why when Mr. Young asked him, "Who are you?" he looked like an older guy. And I can't remember the guy's name who plays that character, but he's been in a lot of movies. So that's when you saw that whole scene. Then you saw. So then you find out that Tommy took the money. Tommy has a drug problem. Now, whether Jenny acknowledges that and hasn't said anything or whatever, why she was reluctant to give him the money, because she did give him the money. It was like, she was basically like, you better not be fucking with me. So you see that Tommy has a drug problem. And then you see that Jenny got a little rough side to her too. I mean, she's all dainty and petite and feminine, but she's all ready to jump into the ring. So then she's at some underground fight where she didn't put her mouth guard in, and she about to go in and throw them bows. So she has a little side to her too. That's sorry, it's Lynn. That was kind of surprising. So all in all, I do like the show. I'm going to continue watching it. I'm probably going to, I don't know how many episodes there are, so I'm probably going to watch the season and probably come back and just do a recap. Take as many notes as I can and come back and do a recap of the season instead of coming back and doing each episode. But I just wanted to do it for this episode because I just want to give my opinion on the first episode. So yeah, that was pretty much the end of it. Oh, and actually, the way the show ended was Kai. He called the ambulance and they had taken Mr. Young away because he was beat up pretty badly, and he still looked like the guy, and he said, "Who are you?" And then he says, "I'm the Wu assassin." Now, to other people, he looks like a different person, but obviously to us, he just looks like Kai. So we could, it's like one of those things. And when he looked in the mirror, he could see how different he looked. So it's going to be an interesting show. It's going to be interesting to see how many different abilities he has. And so it seems like that Yin Yang is going to be coming in and out as he learns how to control his abilities. And she's actually trying to help him because apparently these warlords are supposed to be descending on California, and he is supposed to be the person to stop them. Almost similar to the plot in The Protector, except they were in Istanbul. But it's similar. There's some similarities. But yeah, so I like the show. I'm going to continue watching it, and I'm going to end this here, and I will talk to you guys later.